Welcome to Real Estate with Brenda K. This is a show where we talk about everything and anything to do with your real estate investment. Today, we are diving into something that has changed so dramatically over the years, flooring. If you remember the laminate flooring from the early 2000s, you probably remember the hollow sound, the repeating patterns, worrying about getting a little bit of water on it. Well, times have changed, so let's dive in. Welcome back. I'm so excited. So we as you can see, we've taken the old East Link show and we've turned it into a podcast now.
Growing quickly.
And super excited to have you back with us. Alan.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, this year we're going to talk about your new role in the company you're now with. Tell us about Richie's.
I've been in the business, flooring business, as you know, about 20 years. And the last 5 of it has been with a company called Richie Flooring. It's a company out of New Brunswick. It's a family-owned business, and they've actually been in business since 1966.
Wow.
Yeah, long time. And again, family-owned business. And they came to Halifax in 2020, and I was first on board. And things have been going well. Really, really good company to work for.
Good for you. And I know I've been in there several times. You have an amazing showroom in Burnside on Wright Avenue. If anybody wants to go and see that. Yeah. And over the course of the video, we're going to run your name and number.
Sure.
Yeah. But Today, we are focusing on the evolution of laminate.
Right.
Remember the first laminates that came out?
I think I installed some of that stuff myself, actually.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I had to glue the seams together.
Yeah.
8 mils at the max, maybe.
And then it went to 10.
And it was like a sponge with water.
It was like a sponge, And it was really, really cheap. I kind of equate that level of laminate with paneling in the basement, cheap paneling in the basement. Because
good.
You know, it looked really good. I mean, everybody was putting it in.
Served a purpose.
Yeah. They were taking carpet out and putting that in. Yeah. And you wouldn't believe how many houses I would go in. This is many years ago. And all the seams are all...
That's right. Yeah.
Because tell us what laminate is made of. How do they make laminate?
Laminate is an HDF material, almost like a baseboard, but it's a higher density form of it. And basically what they've done over the years is they've actually compressed that tighter and tighter with a much more dense material. And that allows some of the better water retention, or less water retention for that matter. But in the old days, it was pretty soft, and it would be like a sponge. So it's especially where the seams, that's where the water would get into the seams, and then you'd see the bubbling along the seams. And once that happened, but laminate was an alternative to carpet because everybody wanted to get rid of the carpet. Yeah. And it was more of a budget thing because when you didn't want to go to hardwood, cost or the budget wasn't there. Laminate was a great idea, and it's hard surface, wearability was great, but there was just a few things that didn't do well.
It wasn't. So really, you start. I'm just gonna put my paper down for a minute here. You literally start with layers of about that deep of wet.
That's right. It's almost like a press board. And some companies you'll see, the biggest problem that we run into is trying to explain to people between a 6 millimeter, an 8 millimeter, 12 millimeter.
Right.
So some companies will start at maybe 7 or 8 inches for their HDF material, and they'll compress it down to 12 millimeters, right? Okay. So companies like Torley's, Mohawk, some of the bigger brands, they actually start at 18 inches and they compress it down to 12 millimeters. So you can see it's under more compression. And with that compression, when you carve that locking system out of that HDF material, the integrity of the joint is reliant on the compression of the material. So it all makes sense, right? Yeah. So that's what makes it a better compound as far as the water solubility.
And we're talking about the new version now.
The new stuff.
The newer version, yeah.
There's still some stuff out there you got to put your eye on. You got to kind of look at some of the less expensive products, but anything that's in the premium groups, like some of the better brands, Torrens and Mohawks of the world, they're going to be a much better product when it comes to water. Yeah. And they've done things like wax the seals on the edges on the locking system. And one of the other biggest things that some of the better companies do is they use a locking system that actually, as it tightens, as you lock the system together, it actually frictions the boards together. So there's actually less room for the water to get down inside the joint. Right. And that's been a big thing as well. Yeah. So that's the only time it'll cause damage because it never gets through the top of the board. It's always the joint.
It's the seams. I tell people, when I see them with their mop and their bucket of water, and I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, just the spray, like you taught me years ago, just kind of spray it. And
dry Swiffer.
Yeah.
People do spray it on their Swiffer, that sort of thing, but just no wet mopping, obviously.
Yeah.
There is some that you can go to that level with some of these extreme locking systems with some of the bigger brands, but I still wouldn't do it.
No.
Why not?
No, even what and we'll talk about what you recently sold us, sold me.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's a beautiful product.
I know.
Yeah.
And the thing with laminate, like we said, everyone likes to take it out because of the carpet, because of allergens and things like that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that a lot of the older laminates weren't installed properly, and you go in houses and you can see where they couldn't cut around the baseboard and they couldn't cut. So really, when you install laminate, you should take the baseboards off and butt it up.
Oh, absolutely.
Make it
You have an expansion joint around the edges for, like, laminate will expand.
Yeah.
And if you don't leave that expansion grip, it'll actually raise in the middle of the floor. You can actually so I've walked into a house and you'd have to actually walk over the hump in the floor because it was a DIY, not installed properly.
I've seen that.
If it's installed properly. And then there's other things you can do where you can actually see there's a train track effect where you'll see the seams line up, or ones that is a stair. Well, it actually looks like a stair, and you can tell that that's not installed properly, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to not do that. You start with a smaller board, and then you kind of use the leftover and bring it back to the next line.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you can tell when it's been installed by a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Makes a big difference.
So with the laminate, like a lot of people tore the carpet out of their rec rooms.
Yeah.
And they put laminate down. And we're talking the 10 mil at the time.
Yeah.
And even if you put the 12 mil down, concrete, as we know, has a lot of moisture in it.
It does.
What do you have to do with laminate if you're going to lay it on concrete?
There's a pad, like a vapor barrier,
Okay.
and they call it a 2-in-1 or 3-in-1. And the vapor barrier pad is actually some of it's for sound, right? Because you get the hollow sound that you talked about years ago, and the other part of it is it creates a vapor barrier between the laminate and the concrete, and the moisture in the concrete.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had a house one time that I sold some buyers into.
Yep.
Beautiful home
Right.
out in Elmsdale. And they weren't in there 6 months. And they called me up one day and they said, Brenda, my floor's all wet in the basement. I'm like, wet? And she goes, I said, no, it must be humidity.
Yeah.
You have your air exchanger
That's
on.
right.
And I went out there, Alan,
Yep.
and your feet got wet.
That's right. Yeah.
With
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
So that would be a moisture. That would be. We determined it was not laid properly.
Yeah, and some of the new laminates we talked about, some of the protection. The protection is from above, right? So you're talking, the dog bowl spills, dropping a drink, plants over filled over stuff like that. That's where you'll get the difference. Where you'll see spots where topically these have topical warranties on them now, right?
Okay.
Nothing from below.
Oh,
So
okay.
nothing will ever protect it from below. If you have a flood and it gets anywhere near the bottom of the laminate, it's gonna.
Well, that makes sense.
You're replacing it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it called floating floor?
Because it actually floats. It's not attached to the substrate.
No nails anywhere.
No nails anywhere. No.
So how?
So
come?
your pad goes in between.
Yeah.
And then you're clicking this floor that floats on top of the concrete or on top of the pad, which is on the top of the concrete.
Or on top of that, say it's on the main floor.
Right.
It would be of a house, like say a split entry.
Yeah.
It would float right on top of the plywood.
That's correct. Yeah.
No nails at all.
No nails. And that's why you have to transition. People say, why do you have to transition my floor? Because with hardwood, it's nailed to the floor, right? So when it meets tile, there's nothing that stops the hardwood from coming up. But with laminate, because it's a floating floor, you need that transition from the opposite floor, whether it be tile or whatever it may be, to hold that laminate from prevent it from moving up, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the baseboards hold it around the perimeter of the wall.
Yeah. I'm going. This is driving me crazy. Like we're going into a new house there at the end of April, so we're renting right now.
That's right. Yeah.
And they have what would be considered a 12 mil laminate in there, which looked really good when we went in. It's
Right,
okay.
yeah.
I mean, not my taste, but it's okay, right?
I can replace that for you.
And now I got all these gaps.
Yeah.
And I called the owners, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that happens in the winter. It'll go back in the summer." And I'm like,
So what happens there is that if it's dry, again, like it's any other wooden material, if it expands, it'll expand to the point where it'll raise off the floor. When it dries up, it pulls back, right? So if it pulls back, that's where you'll get gaps that are either around the perimeter of the wall, or it'll actually pull away from itself as well. So that's from the house is a bit dry. And we get 90% of our calls for warranties and things like that are in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Where it's super dry and the flooring contracts. And of course, in the summertime, when it gets humid, it expands and we start to see it lifting off the floor. And again, a lot of those times are DIYs where people haven't left the right amount of expansion gap around the walls.
Yeah. So it really makes that's a really good point.
Yep.
Don't do it yourself. You do flooring, right? Now, we're going to talk about some of the new ones that are out there because there are so many builders now. Like we're looking at homes, as you know, that are selling for $850, $900, $950, and they have laminate
That's right. Yeah.
in them. And I have seen laminate so nice, including what you just did in our old farmhouse we're doing.
Beautiful product.
And we got some samples here to show our viewers. Honest to God, there's days I have to bend down and knock on it and go, is that hardwood or is that laminate?
There's times it's at a point now where even I've been in the business 20 years and I have to kind of look at the product to see what it is. They've done a lot to laminates in the last few years. There's an embossing, and you and I talked about this before, and I showed this on your product. Embossing is a texture that's on the floor, on the product itself, right?
That's what I have, right?
That's right. And then they've gone to another level where it's register embossed. So the actual print follows the texture or the grain of the wood, right? So if you see a knot, you'll feel a knot. And that gives you a much more authentic look, right? So laminate used to be something of more of a budget-related product. Now it's a lifestyle product. So people are picking it. It's nice enough to put in these, expensive homes, and all homes are expensive now, as we realize. And it's more of a life decision these days.
Well, like the last house, my last house there, we had a hand-planked mahogany hardwood. And, my grandchildren would, and the dogs would come in, because the scratches were brutal. And you know my husband, David, very well, right? So you know what he's like. And, every time I turn around, he had this little marker and he's marking all the nicks in the floor. So that's what I want to talk about, the durability of laminate when it comes to kids, to dogs,
Right. There's no comparison, really. You're talking a laminate that I tell, the kind of a line I use quite a bit is that if you look after your laminate in 20 years' time, it'll really look like the day you put it in. It's not bulletproof, but it'll take a lot of abuse before it shows its marks. Yes.
Is it easier to install laminate than hardwood?
Oh yeah.
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 What do you think it would have been like? We have to share this story about my farm. We bought this old farm. My husband and I bought this old farm that we thought was going to be really easy peasy to fix up. So you picked out a beautiful laminate. It's wide plank. It looks like hardwood. I love it.
Well, it was rustic, and that's what you kind of wanted for that.
Almost
look.
like a barn.
Suited the building.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Took us 13 bags of leveler.
Yep.
Just on the main floor to do it.
That house has been settling for a very long time.
Yeah. It's only 150 years old now. Come on,
that's
cut me some slack, right?
It worked out in the end, but
it did.
There was a lot of prep work.
It was a lot of prep work.
We had the right guy. We had to be the right guy to look at that job and determine how we had to flatten that floor out. Because the other thing with laminate is that if you don't, there's a certain amount of tolerance that you can have a bow in the floor before those locking systems will come apart. And your house needed quite a bit of work to get that to the point where we could, stand behind it and warranty it within the tolerances of the manufacturer, right? So they can use floating leveler to do that. They can use plywood. There's a shimming. There's all kinds of different techniques that they can use.
Oh, they use plywood and shims
There
too.
was a lot,
There was a lot.
We had a lot of those conversations. More than I think both of us anticipated, actually.
No, I think it was almost like $5,000 just worth of leveling.
Just for prep. Yep.
That was crazy.
We're seeing more prep too, not to change the subject, but with a lot of these vinyl planks now. So the laminates are, 8, 10, 12 millimeters. So they've got a lot of teeth on that locking system, right? You're getting into the products now, when the vinyl market took off, these 5 millimeter products, there's not a lot of teeth there. So the tolerances are actually even lower. So you even need more prep for these thinner vinyl
to get
planks,
them
right?
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what mill is mine that you sold me?
Yours is a 12.
It is 12. What is the thickest it comes?
12 is a general standard. You'll see some of the manufacturers get into a 13, 13.5.
Yeah.
But generally, the 12 is probably where you want to. Again, I would take some manufacturers 8 mil over others 12. Because
really?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we talked about the density of that product, again, some of the 12s from the bigger brands like Mohawk, Twirlies, they start at 18 inches down to 12 or down to 8 even. And some of the other manufacturers might only start at 6 and 7 inches and back down to 12. So
Yeah.
it makes a big difference.
Yeah. I'm just going to Okay. So the other product, and we've got some samples here, so I am really excited to show people, but I'm really getting confused, which is not hard to do. Laminate, okay, vinyl laminate, what did you call it? There's laminate and laminate.
There's
Plank?
vinyl plank, which is LVP, luxury vinyl plank.
Okay.
And you've got laminate, which is an HDF material, and
Okay.
and a paper top.
And a paper top.
Yeah, two totally different. One's got a vinyl top and one's got a paper top.
Okay, let's pull out the laminate.
Okay. Here we go. This is
So we'll just turn this
one
around
option here. Yeah.
here. So this is, just so that people can understand, this is the wide plank that I used in the farmhouse.
Exactly,
This is
yeah.
not this style particularly, but
Same company, believe it or not.
same
but
company?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I liked about it, the one that I picked out, there's so many knot holes in it. Like
That's
it
right.
looks like you cut it
That's
from
right.
a
That's
tree.
right. Yeah.
So this would be like,
This is a 12.
right.
Yeah, and this has got a uni-click locking system, which is a license and like locking system that
Okay.
gives you that tighter groove. These guys go to a completely different, which yours does. A lot of laminates stop and they've got a painted bevel. What's really neat about this product is actually they wrap the product right down to itself, so it continues right to the seam,
Okay.
like real hardwood would do. So it's another aesthetic look.
So is
and
this when you said, is that paper? You said,
yeah,
you
it's
referred
just,
to,
this
that's
is
paper?
You could really take a picture of yourself and laminate it
Really?
if you wanted to.
Wouldn't that be nice? You do it on the floor
That's
beside
right.
David. His room.
There you go.
Last thing he sees every
It's
night.
his own face.
No, my face.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And then this is registered embossed as well. So when you see a knot, you actually feel it, which just gives another very authentic
The,
look.
yeah,
Right?
it does feel
It's
like
a beautiful
wood.
product.
Okay. So what about now? Let's go to laminate plank.
Yeah.
Or is that what you call it,
Well,
laminate plank?
there's luxury vinyl, which is with this.
Yeah.
So this is,
Okay.
again, same idea. Gets you a wood visual.
Okay.
Now this comes with the pad on the back.
Okay.
And the reason they do that is because if you do that with the laminate, when you're putting the laminate together, you'll have a separation, and laminate isn't water resistant from the bottom up. So vinyl is 100% waterproof. So you can put the pad on the back. So this is a 5 mil product. Again, probably about 8 inches wide.
When
And
you
it-
say 5 mil, is it compressed paper behind?
No, this is just
Is
a
it- or-
composition of vinyl and materials that make up the 5
That's it.
millimeters.
Right.
And typically when they say 5 millimeters, it's a 4 millimeter product with a 1 millimeter pad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they make it that thick.
Yeah, and again, it's just a locking system. It clicks together.
Right.
Same install as the laminate. This product would be 100% waterproof
Right. So you
So-
can put it in your bathrooms, you could run it right through.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Basements, anywhere, entries, bathrooms. Again,
Now-
100% waterproof.
Because it has the vinyl or like on the back, and
Yes.
because it's waterproof, do you also have to put the vapor barrier in the basement?
We suggest a vapor barrier in the basement anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, not on the main level, but in the basement, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So then so you called that LVT?
Luxury vinyl plank.
Okay, luxury vinyl plank.
Luxury
Now
vinyl
there's
plank.
luxury vinyl
Tile. Yeah. This is another cool product that's come out in the last few years.
Okay.
Same idea. But people have been trying to get away from tile because of the grout issues.
Oh, yeah.
Really hard to walk on. There's a lot of things that tile does really durable.
Yeah.
But when it comes to something that's easy to install, you don't need the additional substrates, 100% waterproof. And this has been a great product. It's been probably the last 4 or 5 years, this has really broken out.
One of the things that I find, because remember, years ago in our first houses, we were still putting the vinyl
That's right.
rolling out the cushion floor.
The old sheet
The
good.
cushion floor, yeah.
Yeah.
But then when we started going to hardwood and ceramic in the kitchens and the bathrooms, like the difference between because my son has some of this in his house,
Right.
And if you drop a glass on
Right.
ceramic,
Yeah.
it shatters.
That's
I
right.
mean,
This
it's
is
going
very
everywhere.
forgiving.
It's very forgiving. Yeah.
Yeah, it does a lot of things really well. And again, it's the same idea as the vinyl plank. It's the same locking system and everything else. Different thicknesses, of course. Same with the vinyl planks. They come in different thicknesses. But,
Does this come in a wood grain look too?
well, that is...
Oh, that's the
that-
version of it in
this-
a wood
exactly,
grain.
100%.
I get it.
Same idea, except
get
for
it.
it's a tile, it's visual instead of a wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then I'll get you to pull, because you brought some hardwood too, didn't you?
Yeah, so then we talked about hardwood. Now, you talked about the old days when you'd have to really protect your hardwood. And
Yes.
I remember my first house, I put hardwood in it. And I was so proud of it, and I had a big party. And
No.
next morning, I get up and look at the floor, and it looks like somebody tried to chew through the basement.
I know.
High heel shoes with the little knobs on it. It was a nightmare. Anyway, after the first few dents, like people said, you got used to it.
Yeah.
But people get tired of that. So what the manufacturers started doing is actually putting an embossment on the hardwood itself.
Is this an engineered hardwood?
They hand scrape this and leave the texture on the wood, so you don't notice those fine scratches anymore.
Oh.
A lot easier to maintain.
So is this considered engineered?
This is engineered. And basically the difference in engineered as a solid, they mill the tree, so it's a solid piece of wood, whether it be 3 1/4 wide and
Yep.
3/4 inches deep. This is still 3/4 inch thick, but it's made up of multiple layers.
Yep.
And they do that because the
I see
other
that.
trend has been towards wider and wider boards. And with a solid board, especially we're surrounded water in our climate here, is that if it takes on the moisture, it will cup. You ever walk into a house?
Yes,
It looks
seen it
like
many times.
it's kind of floating. So that's from the humidity. It starts to
Okay.
cup, and it can cup to the point where
Yeah.
it won't come back. So with the trend has gone to a lot wider boards these days. They've actually made it engineered. So the engineer, just like anything else, allows it to be able to move within itself
Okay.
and not react and not
Right.
be affected by the moisture
Right.
and humidity. So yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, houses do breathe.
Yeah,
They
100%.
change the seasons here. So let's just finish it off today with pricing. 'Cause,
Sure.
we'll keep that one up.
Okay.
Like this hardwood. How much per square?
You're
per square
probably
foot?
about between $8 and $12 per
$8 and $12
square foot.
installed.
No, you're about another $3.50 a square foot.
Okay, so
To
8 to
install.
12, maybe $15.
That's right.
Okay, let's
Yep.
go to the laminate.
Okay. Laminate. You're roughly about $2.50 a square foot.
And how much installed?
No, $2.50 square foot for the install.
Oh, for the install. How much to buy it?
You're probably between $4 and $5.99.
$5.99.
Depending what it is, yeah.
Right.
Yep. And you can get your deals out there. Like we're a huge stocking dealer, so we might be able to serve you something like this for about $3.99, right?
You know what I liked about Richie's because we went with you when your previous, where you were previously,
right.
went with you.
Yeah.
But what I really liked with Richie's is the amount of inventory you have. If you had enough on inventory well, I think I bought it all.
You did.
For the farm. For the farm, yeah.
We reloaded on that, but we've always been a huge stocking dealer, and that way, the flooring manufacturers don't necessarily say we've got a sale on this week. The only way to be able to give a better price to the customer is by bulk,
Okay.
and we've been doing that for years. And it's nice to have the material. And that
to have
helped
it.
us a lot during post-COVID when a lot of people didn't have materials, and we had a lot of it. And we first came to town, that really kind of put us on the map, which was helpful, and we've always continued to do that.
Okay. So 2 more prices really quick before we got to go here today. We've got the vinyl plank. Okay.
Again, vinyl plank. By the time you hit a big box store, you're anywhere from $2 to $2.50 to again $5.99 for some of this stuff.
Okay.
Right, depending on the manufacturer, the
Okay.
thickness and the quality.
Yeah.
Right, you've got your A, B, C, and
Okay.
any category.
And the
flooring.
LVT, did we do
You're
that
about
one
the same
already?
price. You're about the same price. Yeah.
Yeah.
And install on that again, you're about $2.50 a square foot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Generally, right?
Yeah, I am big on it. Alan, you know what? We could sit here and talk about flooring all day.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know you and I could sit here and talk about flooring all day long. So I want to thank you so much for coming in. So what we've done is we've run your name and your company and that below. But I really, if people want to really understand what they're getting, because you saw me when we were doing we hadn't put new flooring in a house in over 12 years. And when we walked in to pick out stuff from the farm, I truly was confused. There was laminate plank, there was vinyl plank, there was, this kind of laminate. And by the way, I absolutely love what I have.
That turned out really nice.
And
even the installer said it was a beautiful job.
You know what? And that's the other kind of point I want to make to the viewers here is that if you're going to put out the money for the product,
Right.
put out the money, unless you're really good. Like my husband's a carpenter.
That's right.
He didn't lay the floor.
That's right.
Your specialist laid the floor.
David could have done that no problem.
Yeah.
But with the amount of work that's involved in getting it ready for the flooring and everything,
Yeah.
he just entrusted it in our installers. And
Well,
we've got some of the best installers in the city, and we're really proud of our installers.
Exactly.
And it's 90% of the entire job.
It is.
Everybody can sell you the same material from retailer to retailer. It's really the installers that'll make the job.
It comes down to it because, I'm like you. I've seen so many floors where humps or it's spreading or whatever. So, okay. Well, I hope you're going to come back next season.
We will, for
We'll
sure.
talk about
It's always a pleasure.
something else, and then anybody out there that's thinking flooring, honestly, go to Richie's Flooring and ask for Alan. You'll be floored. Oh, yeah, that made it funny. You'll be floored by how big their showroom is.
We've actually gotten involved too. Just another tip is we've got into other building materials such as the cabinets. Now we're doing cabinets. We're doing so cabinets, blinds. We're doing blinds, baseboards, interior, exterior doors. So pretty much everything that you need.
Well, you'll
under
be back.
one roof.
You'll be back next season.
100%.
Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Great discussion. So you heard flooring plays a bigger role in your home than most people realize. It impacts how your home looks, how it functions day to day, and how buyers perceive it when it's time to sell. So understanding the differences between laminate, luxury vinyl, and other materials, it helps you make smart choices that balance durability, maintenance, and long-term value. Thanks so much for joining us on our flooring episode. I'll see you next time on Real Estate with Brenda K. And remember, if you're thinking real estate in Halifax, think Brenda K.